Thank you, Gurdeep. I now move the ordinary resolution relating to item number 1 of the notice for adoption of standalone and consolidated audited financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2015. Reports of the auditors thereon and reports of the Board of Directors on standalone financial statements. Before putting the resolutions to vote, I invite the members to seek clarifications, if any, and offer their comments. I request Shri Prakash Shenoy, our Company Secretary, to announce the names of the members to come to the podium. Prakash.
Thank you, sir. I now take
Ambani Knowledge City in New Mumbai. I will ask Mr. Shenoy to organize that and get a group of shareholders, whoever desire to go in the next few months to visit the Knowledge City. The suggestion made by one of the shareholders of having the presentations by the CEO, in this case Gurdeep Singh, and other CEOs in the various meetings on the internet, on YouTube, and etc. Is a very good suggestion. We will ensure that it is done. Just for the record, the entire AGM proceedings and the important highlights are webcasted and are available on the internet real time and online. The Shailesh Bhai mentioned in his large number of comments, a few comments which I will talk about, and one is his excellent advice for the audit committee to consider both standalone and consolidated accounts for their review. The second one was the history of the financial summary from inception, which can be always incorporated. And we are all duty bound to comply with the Companies Act, whatever it may be, whether we like it or we don't like it. I think it will make the system more transparent, it will make the system more accountable. So we are obliged to report as per the Companies Act, whatever is mandatory and whatever is optional, both of them naturally we will be wanting to do. Let me make a few observations which will answer a number of questions raised by a number of shareholders on the future of the company and the various opportunities and strategies for future growth that we are pursuing. Number one, let me talk about the recent development on trading and sharing of spectrum. As all of you are familiar, spectrum is the lifeline, is the natural resource that really drives telecoms. So we welcome the forward-looking policy of this government, which has recently approved trading and sharing of spectrum. This has been recently approved by the Union Cabinet. The sharing guidelines have already been published on Friday, and we expect the trading guidelines also to be announced very shortly. These policies are in line with global best practices, and India has to follow what the world is doing sooner than later. And as we are leapfrogging through technology, as we are leapfrogging from no phone to a mobile phone, access to the internet straight from a mobile phone, clearly these are the last few policies that the government needs to execute in terms of being globally benchmark and have global best practices. So sharing and trading is in that direction, and we welcome this entire policy framework. What sharing and trading of spectrum will effectively do is A, it will optimally utilize the scarce resources of spectrum available with the various operators. 2, it will substantially remove duplication of capital expenditure by different operators for rollout services. Today, every operator is spending his own capital and saying this is my spectrum, my tower, my fiber. But as we get into a more cooperative model, I think that sharing and trading will ultimately benefit all consumers, all shareholders, because companies' capital intensity hopefully will come down and the resources will be spent in a better fashion, and there'll be an optimal utilization of resources. Undoubtedly, sharing and trading of spectrum will improve coverage and quality of services. So the issues on call drops, the issues on quality of services, on coverage. One of the shareholders mentioned, and my condolences on the passing away of your brother, and I'm sorry that they could not reach you. But if we have a common shared infrastructure policy, then it should not make a difference whether it's a Reliance tower or it's a XYZ tower. You as a customer are really interested in being connected, and the call should be connected. And I believe that that is what is the model that is going to go into the future. And last, I would say that it's a unique opportunity for companies and the industry in general to monetize its investments already made in acquisition of spectrum, leading to a reduction in the overall level of leverage and debt of the various players. As all of you are familiar, the telecom industry has participated repeatedly in auctions to buy spectrum, and all operators have a large amount of debt, more than necessary debt than what all of us can really afford. And I think that the step towards sharing and trading of spectrum will lighten the burden of debt on all operators and will give an opportunity to unlock and create value for all operators. Two is the strategic partnership between Reliance Communications and Reliance Jio. As you are aware, we commenced this strategic partnership between Reliance Jio and Reliance Communication in April 2013. The partnership already covers a large number of areas. It started with the sharing of towers, whereby Reliance Jio doesn't have to build towers that we have. And if they are building towers, then we don't need to build those towers, and we can occupy those towers ourselves. So it's a cooperative model. The same thing we extended to fiber, both intra-city, that is within a city, that means within the city of Bombay, and intra-city, which is say connecting Bombay and Delhi, Bombay and Ahmedabad, Bombay and Chennai, and so on and so forth. Sharing of bandwidth, sharing of infrastructure points of interconnect, and sharing of ducts. As you know that all fiber is laid through ducts in the ground. You will see often people digging roads all the time and making life inconvenient for most people. Reliance Communication had the foresight to put in ducts many years ago into the ground, and we don't need to dig roads again. And those ducts can now be used by us or by Reliance Jio and by other customers. We are in discussions with other telecom operators. And this is frankly a common infrastructure is the way we should look at it. It should not inconvenience people. It should be at a lower cost. It should provide a higher quality of service. And at the end of the day, everybody must optimize their capital expenditure. The announcement last week of trading and sharing policies by the government has really now set the stage to extend our partnership to the next level of cooperation between Reliance Jio and Reliance Communication. I believe that this will be the true game changer for the sector, a true game changer for Reliance Jio and for Reliance Communication, and we will see the benefits of this in the coming years. As Gurdeep mentioned in his presentation, Reliance Communication is the only operator in India to hold 5 megahertz of contiguous spectrum, or the most valuable spectrum in the 800 to 850 band across the country. This spectrum is ideally suited for the launch of what I really believe is the first truly world-class 4G long-term evolution technology services in India. I believe that our offering jointly with Reliance Jio and Reliance Communication together will be the gold standard of 4G services. I believe that we have the real clear ability to provide a competitive edge in terms of quality, coverage, and pricing over other operators launching similar services in other spectrum bands. Just so that shareholders understand, the higher the spectrum band, the poorer are the quality of services, the higher is the capital expenditure. There is unlikely to be any other operator, barring Reliance Communication and Reliance Jio, who will launch 4G services on a pan-India basis in the 800 band. And that's why I said this will truly be the first time that India will see gold standard 4G services. And I'm confident that during the course of this year, this financial year, we will have launch of 4G services across India. So I'm pleased to announce today that we are at an advanced stage of discussions for finalizing our nationwide trading and sharing arrangements between Reliance Jio and Reliance Communications in the 800 to 850 band, in line with the new policies of the Department of Telecom. These arrangements will be accompanied by reciprocal arrangements between Reliance Jio and Reliance Communications for roaming by our respective customers on each other's networks. So all Reliance Communication customers will be able to roam on Reliance Jio network, and all prospective Reliance Jio customers will be able to roam on the Reliance Communication network. These arrangements will facilitate Reliance Communications access to Reliance Jio's world-class 4G LTE network on an asset-light and minimal capital expenditure model, and enable us to offer customers state-of-the-art gold standard 4G LTE services across the length and breadth of this country. Simultaneously, Reliance Jio will also substantially benefit from access to Reliance Communications' entire portfolio of 800, 850 megahertz band spectrum in all 22 circles across the country to supplement the already considerable spectrum holdings in 800, 850, 1800 and 2300 megahertz bands held by Reliance Jio. Reliance Jio will also secure the ability to offer their customers a fallback on Reliance Communications' extensive 2G and 3G networks across the country wherever required by the customer. I believe that this overall strategic cooperation and partnership between Reliance Jio and Reliance Communications is a virtual consolidation in the telecom sector, and I am grateful to my elder brother Mukesh Bhai for his unstinted support and guidance in making this partnership a reality. I am sure that the close cooperation between the two companies, Reliance Jio and Reliance Communication, will make my father very happy in heaven, and my dearest loving mother, Kokila Ben, who is present here today. A few shareholders asked about towers and a tower company. I am pleased to announce that we are making excellent progress on the strategic process for creation of India's first truly independent tower company. As previously intimated to the stock exchanges, we are in the midst of a formal process for creation of value and monetization of our 95% stake in Reliance Infratel, together with a change of management control. Based on progress made so far and barring unforeseen circumstances, we expect to sign and announce this new independent tower company formation and transaction by the end of this year. Our other potential transactions for monetization of valuable real estate owned by Reliance Communication is also proceeding extremely well. These transactions will lead to a substantial reduction of Reliance Communications' overall debt and greatly strengthen your company's balance sheet, creating a robust platform for renewed growth in the years to come. Together with the monetization of spectrum through trading and sharing arrangements with Reliance Jio and the asset-light and minimal capex model, again in partnership with Reliance Jio, we intend to adopt as above for our future growth. I believe that we are at a transformational moment in Reliance Communications' growth, and one that will lead to significant value creation for all stakeholders in the years ahead. Industry consolidation. Even as virtual industry consolidation between Reliance Jio and Reliance Communication takes place through spectrum trading, sharing, and infrastructure sharing, there is clearly a need for an absolute reduction in the number of operators in various circles across the country. I am pleased to state that our discussions with SSTL/MTS from Russia for a merger of their Indian operations into Reliance Communication through a stock swap, all share transaction, are now at an advanced stage. And we are expecting to finalize this and announce it in the course of the next few weeks. We expect that the proposed merger will be highly value accretive for your company and at premium valuations for Reliance Communication shares, as it will substantially give us benefits in 8 important circles, extend the validity of the valuable spectrum that we hold in the 800-850 band by a significantly long period of 12 years, all the way up till year 2033. This will be another unique element to the strong competitive position of your company. Digital India. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, is leaving no stone unturned to translate his vision of Digital India into reality. It is a brilliant vision to transform India into a digitally empowered society and a knowledge economy, providing digital infrastructure as a utility to every citizen, governance and services on demand, and digital empowerment of citizens. I had the privilege of participating in the launch program of this visionary initiative. Reliance Communication expects to play a frontier role in realizing the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister with our capabilities of high-speed broadband on the back of our nationwide fiber network, high-quality spectrum assets, and data center facilities providing unlimited cloud computing power. As a leading pan-India wireless company, Reliance Communications has already helped millions of our citizens with mobile connectivity and voice offerings. Now, with the Digital India initiative, Reliance Communications will help hundreds of millions of customers leapfrog into a transformational digital era, an era where 1 billion people in India will move from the current state of no access to even basic computers to a world-class instantaneous access to the internet through the most sophisticated computing devices right in their own hands, namely smartphones. I would like to end my comments on a note of great optimism for the future prospects for our great company. The improving fundamentals of the Indian economy, the Honorable Prime Minister's vision for Digital India, our world-class telecom assets and infrastructure, our partnerships with global majors in the digital space, our imminent transactions to strengthen our balance sheet, and our asset-light and minimal capex growth strategies for the future. All these factors and more fill me with confidence that Reliance Communication is poised to deliver superior returns to all its stakeholders in the years that lie ahead of us. Thank you. As required, the company has provided remote e-voting facility to all the members of the company from September 27th, 2015 to September 29, 2015. The voting rights of the members shall be in proportion to the number of shares held by them as on the cutoff date being September 23, 2015. The voting through physical ballot has also been made available to the members who attend the AGM who have not already cast their vote by remote e-voting. The Board of Directors of the company have appointed Shri Anil Lohia, partner Dayal and Lohia, Chartered Accountants, as the scrutinizer to scrutinize the voting process. Now Shri Prakash Shinoy, Company Secretary, will guide you for voting at the meeting.